Hey people, as you can see, I'm on the beach. I'm on the shore of Crystal Lake, and it's a little rough tonight. This is just a little more wind than I like, but I used to come out here and skip rocks all the time when I was a kid, and it was one of my favorite things to do. So I thought I would set you up to see how we do tonight. Like I said, it's a little rough, so I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but let's just give it a shot. Get that out of your way. A little choppy. This is what I used to do for hours until the beach ran out of flat rocks, and then come back next year and they'd all be washed up again. I swear, some of these I've been throwing for years. You throw them out there, they wash up a year or two later, you just throw the same rock again. How's it going? Corner. Got a few more, and then we'll be done. Get a flatter night, I'll bring you out here again. I guess that's what we got today, people. Yeah, so that was my one of my childhood pastimes, and there's something about being out here. I mean, look at that moon. Something about being out here that just connects you with nature in a way that almost nowhere else does. I mean, I live in New Mexico, so it's not like I'm disconnected from nature, but there is something about this place in particular that's just kind of magical. And I think what there's something really interesting coming through today for me. I actually had a conversation with a student, and then that turned into a conversation with my coach, or it didn't turn into, but it led to, or it followed. I followed up with a conversation with my coach, and it was one of these things where I was noticing, and also it was being pointed out to me, that even though things are moving in this really beautiful way, and I have this kind of, a real sense of just connecting with my deeper purpose and connecting with the kinds of things that I want to bring into the world. There's still things for me to learn. There's still things that I'm clarifying exactly what it is I'm giving. And the connection that I made today, that sort of follows on from the last couple days, what I've been talking about in terms of how can I be of service? What is it? Who needs what I have? Which is, I think, what I was talking about yesterday. And then just this context of service and purpose being essentially the same as service. Like whom am I here to serve is the same as asking what's my purpose. And I think when we get that, instead of letting our ego answer that question of what's my purpose, but actually, really looking at whom am I serving and letting our heart answer that question, changes the whole, changes the nature of the answer and of what it feels like to lean into that. And what I noticed today was that the answer to that question of whom am I serving, and in some ways this ties into like my teaching on piano and my teaching as a creative coach, my work as a creative coach, is very related to my work as a creative artist, and how clear I am on who I am as an artist that's helping to determine and it informs how clear I am on the teaching side of it. And I think this is something that, I know that I struggled for a long time. I had a sense of not wanting to become a teacher because it meant that I wasn't a real artist. And then at some point, I believe I've said this in another post, at some point I realized that every great artist that I've ever really gotten close to and admired and thought, wow, that's a person I'd love to emulate, or that's the kind of career I'd like to have, they've all been artist educators. They've all been people who continued developing their craft and evolving their own craft throughout their entire life, and also they had a passion for communicating that and giving to other people. And so that, there came a point where I let that go. I let go of this notion that by being a teacher I was becoming less of an artist. And then, as it would, the universe then quickly taught me that teaching was actually deepening my craft, and by letting myself be in communication, become a vessel for something, become a channel, more information, more inspiration, more ideas were able to come through, because I wasn't bottling them up, thinking that I couldn't let them out as a teacher because I wouldn't be a real artist. All of a sudden, like, flow started to happen. That I realized that just all the kind of weird ways that I'd held on to an identity had been blocking the very flow that I was wishing I could find, so that I could feel more like I was that identity. It was blocking itself. That identity was blocking itself from manifesting. And, I think what I'm feeling now, what I'm experiencing now, is certainly a lesser level of that, but also in some ways a version of that, whereby I'm noticing that as much as I can lean into where I really am as a creator, where I really am as a person, as an artist, as a musician, a writer, the more I can lean into that, and the more I can gain clarity on what I'm doing there, the more I also gain clarity on what I'm teaching. I mean, it sounds so obvious to say, but somehow, these things kind of somehow feel like they're sometimes separate domains. I mean, of course, they're all one thing, but I guess what I'm saying is they're coming closer and closer together in my awareness. I'm seeing how my work as an artist immediately and directly influences my work as a teacher, and how they're becoming more and more linked in a way. And I know I'm going to have more to say about this, and being here is a wonderful place to sort of ruminate on that. So, yeah, I think that's where I am today, people. I could talk your heads off for another 12 minutes, but I think I'll leave it there and come back to this tomorrow. It's something that's percolating and not fully formed yet, so I think be curious to see where this goes over the next couple days. Hopefully I'll have a little time to just reflect. But I love you, appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Truly, truly appreciate having you receive what I'm saying. So, much love to you all. I'll see you soon.